Alright, so now we want to look at adding fractions with different denominators or different bottom numbers. Now this is a little bit harder, and this involves your ability to be able to have good knowledge of the times tables. So let's take an example here. 1/4 plus 2/5. Okay, at the moment we've got two different denominators. So we can't really add these together at the moment. So what we need to do is we actually need to change these denominators that they become the same. So an easy strategy to do this is to simply have a look at 4 and 5, and we can multiply these two together. That's going to give us 20 and 20 on the bottom. So let's go back up here and let's look at this. So we multiplied 4 by 5 to get to 20, which means we need to multiply the top number by 5. Now don't multiply this one by 5, because 5 5s is 25. I want it to be 20. So this one here was actually multiplied by 4. So notice the difference, alright? Which means we times this by 4 up here. Now what I've done is I've split my shape up into 20 parts. I have 5 parts out of 20 for here, because 1 times 5 is 5. I have 2 times 4 is 8. This will be 8 parts out of 20. Now all I need to do, alright, now remember this, 5 20ths plus 8 20ths is 13 20ths. Do not get caught in the same trap that a lot of students get caught in, where they add 20 and 20 to become 40. Remember, the denominator does not change. Alright, so let's look at another example here. Let's get rid of this. Let's look at 3/5 plus 2/7. So let's use that same strategy we did before. Let's look at 5 times 7 gives us 35. And 35 here. Now what we need to work out is what goes on top. So what do we multiply 5 by to get to 35? We times it by 7, which means we times the top by 7. Okay, so we're changing that to an equivalent fraction down here. 7 3s are 21. Alright, still means the same fraction, just written differently. What do I times 7 by? Remember, it's the bottom number here. To change to 35, we times it by 5, not by 7. So 7 5s are 35. We times the top by 5, that gives us 10. Okay, once we have the denominators the same, the denominator does not change. It's how many parts it's split into. So 21 plus 10 gives us 31 over 35. And there's adding fractions with different denominators. Let's look at one more example. Here we go. Let's look at 3 over 5 plus 2 over 15. Alright, now we could multiply 5 and 15 together, but I know that 5 can be changed into 15 by timesing by 3. Now this is a bit smarter way of looking at fractions. We don't need to multiply 5 and 15. So 5 times 3 will give me my denominator as 15. Our 1 over here is already 15, so we don't need to times this by anything. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus, and then we still have 2 on top, which is going to give us 11 over 15. Alright, so this is an example of where we don't have to actually multiply the two numbers together like we did in the previous two. And there is adding fractions with different denominators.